Hi, and welcome to our kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you a spicy bourbon barbecue sauce that you can put on chicken or beef, whatever you choose, pork, shrimp if you want to, salmon. It covers about everything. Now I'm Nana, and cameraman Paul is my husband, almost 48 years, and he's going to help me out today showing you how I make this. First of all, my barbecue sauce takes a half of an onion minced. Now what's that mean, minced? It's not chopped, it's cut in very small pieces. Now if you get it too big, just go like this with your knife and chop it finer. Now originally when I wrote the recipe it didn't call for any peppers, but I decided to put a whole jalapeno into my recipe, and I had this frozen in the freezer, just whole, let it thaw out, and I had to use gloves to do that because my skin will not take the pepper capsaicin oil on my skin. My hands would burn the rest of the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the dry ingredients first. This is going to be smoked paprika, and 1 teaspoon of that. Spicy McCormick grilling steak seasoning, Montreal steak, teaspoon. I'm going to have the directions down below, and so you can write it down later. Then we need a half a cup of brown sugar. This is light brown sugar. You can use dark brown if you want. You can use coconut sugar, any sugar of your choice. I did add a teaspoon of turmeric, and turmeric is supposed to be healthy for you, so I've been taking a lot of that for my immune system. A teaspoon of black pepper, and I put it all in this little container so I can put it into my skillet when I'm making the sauce. Okay, now on the wet side, in this cup I have 2 cups of ketchup, a 1/4 cup of horseradish. Now a lot of people don't like it, so it's optional. And then I did a tablespoon of mustard of your choice. Also on this one, and I did 2 tablespoons of molasses in this one. And on this one I did 4 tablespoons or a 1/4 cup of tomato paste. Now what I did is I just took my tablespoons measuring spoon, and I sprayed it with oil. So then when I dipped it down in the can and put it in the glass measuring cup, it just slid right off. There's no sense in putting it in another cup to measure 1/4 cup. It's easier that way. And I'll save this. I'll put it in a little plastic bag, flatten it out, put it in the freezer, and then when I need another half a can of tomato sauce, I just take it out and put it in my recipe. It stays fresh. And we got molasses, and then there's 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. This is organic, gluten-free soy sauce. Also your Worcestershire sauce. Leah Parents makes a gluten-free Worcestershire sauce. You can use the ketchup of your choice, and then a couple dashes of Tabasco or hot sauce of your choice. And then here's what gives it the flavor. This is called liquid smoke. And what this is they've concentrated their liquid down after smoking it in wood. Now this is a mesquite. They have other flavors, and this is very potent. And you want to be careful with it. I did use 2 tablespoons, but you might want to start out with 1 tablespoon to see if you like the smoky flavor. This recipe also calls for 4 cloves of garlic that I've already chopped, and calls for an acid. Now it calls for 1/3 cup of mayonnaise. Here I go again. Vinegar. And I had some lemon I needed to get rid of, so I squeezed a whole lemon in this. Well, I need to make it 1/3 of a cup. So I took my apple cider vinegar, and I buy the mother that's got all the good stuff in it. Shake that up, and we're going to make this 1/3 of a cup. That's simple. Now I don't know if it matters, but you can see me holding the cup this way even though I'm left-handed. That's because the measurements on this side are not on this side, and that's the problem with being left-handed. And then here's the kicker. I promised you bourbon. This is a 3/4 cup of bourbon of your choice. You can use cheap stuff, you could use expensive stuff. It's what you have in your cupboard, or if you don't want to pay for a bottle that costs a lot, just use the cheap stuff. Okay, now I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to take this all over to the stove, and I'll show you how to cook everything. Okay, I'm back, and what I'm doing is I'm going to cook my onions first with the jalapeno. And what I did is I took 2 tablespoons of bacon grease. A lot of people use butter. I can't have butter because it has dairy in it. I figured for a smoky barbecue sauce, bacon grease would be very fine. Now first I'm going to put the onions and the jalapeno in. I'm going to hold back on the garlic, because you don't want to put your garlic in at the beginning because it will burn. And if it burns, then it's bitter. So what you do is you start with these. I'm going to go ahead and turn my oven down a little bit. And we're going to cook these until they get translucent. What that means is they get soft, or softer than they are now, and they become a little bit clearer. And so I'm going to start out with the vegetables first. Now the beauty of this barbecue sauce is you can strain it when you're done if you don't like the pieces of onion and pepper in it. Make it a smooth sauce, or you can take your blender and blend it up to make it smooth also. I'm cooking the onions and the peppers. I read a recipe a long time ago that was barbecue sauce with bourbon in it, and I just made it my own. We like certain things that maybe other people don't like. If you don't like an ingredient in this recipe, or you don't have the stuff in your cupboard, you don't have to put it in. This is just my version, and you can make it any way you want. Now I want to take my dry seasonings and put it in with the vegetables. What is this spatula? What that does, it allows the seasonings to open up with their flavor, what they call bloom, I guess. And I'm going to probably start coughing pretty soon. I've had a problem with breathing seasonings. It makes me cough. Okay. I'm going to back away a little bit. Let that go for maybe 2 minutes, not very long because it'll burn. And then we're going to add our garlic that I minced. And just let this go for about 1 minute. Now, I'm going to start with my Worcestershire soy sauce tomato paste. And the reason for that is I want the tomato paste to start cooking first. Give it a little bit of flavor too. If you cook it before I add the ketchup ingredients, I'm going to let this cook a little bit. This is used for a thickener for your sauce, and also the molasses too. And it makes your sauce thicker. This is totally optional again, if you don't have any in your house. What happened was I didn't have any barbecue sauce in my house. And I'm partial to one barbecue sauce, so I just decided I'd make my own that day. And I was pleasantly surprised. Now we put this on grilled chicken, grilled steaks, hamburgers, and then of course barbecue tri-tip. Okay, now we're going to add, why don't we do the vinegar. That doesn't have to cook. We're going to go ahead and immediately throw this in, the ketchup. I love ketchup. And like I say, this will be the, your choice. Then the brown sugar goes in. Mix it real well. Ideally, you want to cook this and let it bring it to a boil, and then simmer it for 2 hours. If you don't have the time, just do it for maybe half an hour. Okay. Now for the good stuff. I'm going to add the bourbon. Now don't panic. It cooks down. The alcohol in it disappears, but for some of you that can't have alcohol, period, use a cup of coffee. Now, why coffee? I found out that if you put coffee in things like chili or something like that, it gives it a deeper, darker flavor. It actually enhances your flavoring. So if you can't have bourbon, make it a coffee barbecue sauce. Very good, very good. Okay, now I'm going to bring this to a boil. Let me show you when it starts boiling. See the bubbles? That's pretty thick. I'm going to turn it down to what they call, ouch, simmer. Let me get my lid. Watch out, cameraman Paul. Spitting at you.
Yep.
There we go. Now I put it halfway, or not halfway on, but a little bit cocked off off the side, because I want to let it evaporate. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. That's a little bit thick for starting out before we even cook it. Learn what to do in these situations. It'll come to you. And that was just too thick when you're starting out, and if you're going to let it cook or simmer for a while, it would turn really way too thick. So I added about a cup of water, maybe half a cup, and I'm going to let it come to a boil again, and then I'm going to turn it down to simmer. And what simmer is it just barely bubbles. And so then after that's done, we're going to let it go for maybe half an hour, and then we'll come back. Hi, we're back, and look what I did. I went and grilled a couple, well, not a couple, 4 pieces of chicken for dinner. Slathered the barbecue sauce over it. Now the important part is, don't put the barbecue sauce on right away when you're cooking meats, because it's got a lot of sugar in it and it'll burn. So you want to do it like in the middle of your cooking. And I just want to show you that the barbecue sauce came out nice and thick. It was simmering for about an hour. And then what you can do is put them in these little jars, put them in your refrigerator, and then you can have barbecue sauce for your next meal. Let me do a taste test. Now I'm what you call a dipper. On my plate I will have more barbecue sauce so I can dip my meat in it. My mouth's watering. Nice and sweet. Spicy, but sorry. Once you get it on the meat, the heat is not there so much anymore. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please subscribe, comment, and like. Push the bell, and that will alert you for my next videos. Make sure you look for our summer recipes coming up. I do one every week. And just to say, love you, bye.